So they asked to do that in English. And first, thank you very much for inviting me to speak. They did it like, you just have a title and then somebody votes. And somebody voted my session. It means thank you. I didn't manage to fuck that up. Thank you very much. My name is Yosi. I'm 39. I started with computers at a very, very early age. So early that there was only one channel on TV. There was one TV program called The Whiz Kids. It was a very, very politically correct TV show. You had the girl, you had the black guy, you had the little girl with those things on the hair, you had a guy with the glasses and everybody else. And there was also a dog, of course. Very, very politically correct. Now, guess who was the computer geek, right? This was the guy with the TV, and they used to solve all sorts of, adventures. They did all sorts of amazing things on TV. Only 12 episodes, but for me, only one episode was enough to understand that this is what I'm going to do in life. That's what I want to do. It was either selling drugs in Ashkelon or becoming a geek. So I decided to be a geek, and it was very, very hard because at the time there wasn't a lot of computers. My first computer was this one. It was a Commodore 64, only 1 megahertz, 64K of RAM, not a lot. And the problem is, not the problem, but I don't know if you see it, but there's 2 serial ports. You would plug in joysticks, and you would play. Now most games were played using port number 2. This one. The problem was that my port number 2 didn't go left. So did you ever try to play Pac-Man without going left? It's like you're getting so good at it at some point that it's really amazing. So I got bored really, really fast, and I started programming. The way we did stuff back then is copying things out of papers, because that was the most efficient way of moving information from one place to another. You wouldn't use floppy disks because it was too expensive. There was tape cassettes, it was too nice. Nobody would copy tape cassettes. It was too expensive. So they would print in magazines programs, but not just programs using text or basic or stuff like that. It was hex values. You would punch in hex values for 2 days on the computer, on this keyboard, for 2 days, not knowing what's going to be on the screen once you finish, and then just to see a sprite going on. So just to show you, this is a really hardcore developer crowd, and maybe the only thing that I can still do is program this. So this is this. This is the only thing that I can still do while I'm drunk. This is basic, Commodore 64. But I want to show you, a friend of mine did a very nice thing for me, and he managed to send me some of the code that I wrote as a kid. Now, what we used to do is we used to hack games, and we used to slap in front of the game a little intro saying who the group is, what we did, how big our dick is, and stuff like that. And we would send those disks somewhere, to someone, because there wasn't any networking, no internet, it was pre-BBS, okay? So this is loading, it's like emulating the disk on, and this is something I wrote in Ice and C was my handle, very, very cool. This was December 1990, okay? This is all done in assembly. Now, the way we communicated was using this scroller. You would open a game, you would see the text, it was running, and this is how we communicated. There was no other way. I'm really proud of this. It's like, for me, it's really emotional I worked with it for months for this thing. Did you see? My group was called Hotshot. Really, that's what we did as kids. And of course, this computer didn't have enough graphics. It was 320 by 200. So the next slide is a kind of a Rorschach test. If you don't see it, that means you're normal, okay? This one. Now, if you see boobs, okay, it's just because I implanted it with the demo before that, okay? If you don't see boobs, it means you're normal. If you do see boobs, you're very, very creative. But we had porn at the time. 320 by 200 was enough. You could see porn on a Commodore 64. Your mother would come in. She wouldn't see anything because it's not enough, right? It's like just white noise. So we also had porn. From there, this was the highlight of my life. Okay, this was the highlight of my life. I was 11. There was free porn everywhere. You didn't need to... What?
Isn't it still the highlight of your life?
Oh, yes, the 320 by 200. You know, the things that I see here, unbelievable. Yes, this was the start of it. And we had that, and we didn't think about 888. You see, we had that at 86. So the next thing I'm going to show you is a little bit promo. Moving forward to today, this is a little promo of a TV show that is going to be on air on the 27th in Yes Doco. רעיונות קטנים ומפגרים. Let me give you a little spoiler. I fucked up. It crashed and burned. It didn't work. I fucked up everything that I touch. Everything. You have a good startup, you want a good advice, come to me, I will fuck it up for you. Seriously. I didn't manage to do anything good, maybe beside my kids, and this is, my wife to blame, but so I'm going to share with you some of the fuck-ups that I did. The first fuck-up that was really, really mine, it was the first company that I set up. It wasn't my first fuck-up. I had a few other ones. I started with Ran Kampf. Where is Ran Kampf? Who was just chosen to be one of the top 10 single men in Tel Aviv, the startup scene in Tel Aviv. This is amazing. And we started Feed Me because we visited Paris in the first time in January 2009. And I don't know if you've been to Paris. So Paris is amazing. It's romantic. The smell of croissants is amazing. We go out of the plane and we put our luggage in the room and we go for the Louvre, right? We are very intelligent persons. We like art. So we go for the Louvre. And on the way to the Louvre, just before we came, to it, we saw this amazing patisserie. Now, I don't know if you know that, but the French people are crazy about dessert. So crazy that 250 years ago, there was a guy who said, like, a dessert without cheese is like a beautiful woman with only one eye. Now, this is a very, very serious person. He was a lawyer, he was a governor, he was also a writer. He wrote the first book about food, which was called The Physiology of Taste. So I get in, and I take my favorite one, which is a millefeuille. Right, the Napoleon, and they wrap it like a present for me. I said, what are you doing? I said, I want to eat here. I said, no, this is how we do it here. So she wraps it to me, and I open it, and I take a bite, and it's like the best thing I ever ate. It was amazing, and I wanted to shout to the world that in the middle of January, freezing Paris, this place has the best crème schnit ever. And I can't. So a week later, we're back in Tel Aviv. It was, before Oprah Winfrey heard about Twitter, we went to lunch and we ate a sabarina. And a sabarina, by the way, is called after Savarin from the previous quote. And we took a photo. And we just, published it to Twitter, saying desserts, we had the typo, hashtag feed me. And something amazing happened that day. It's 2009, almost nobody had Twitter at the time. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg wasn't rich at the time, that's how old it is. And 300 people saw the picture, which was pretty amazing. 300 people actually saw the picture. There was a little counter on TweetPic, which is amazing. I didn't have that experience, nobody looked at something that I did 300 times. And something even more amazing started to happen after that. People started posting pictures to Twitter with the hashtag feedme. And we said, oh my God, I think we have a startup. It's like unbelievable. People actually are doing something. We didn't explain, we didn't have a domain, we didn't have anything. It just worked. And we started working on that. And we actually published an app called Feed Me, and it was beautiful, it still is. We did it with Naor Suki and Udi Milo, which is now a PM in LinkedIn, and Eran is the CTO of The Pulse, which raised lots of money and is rich like hell now, right? Spending weeks' money. And it was beautiful, it was working, we loved it, and we had so many ideas on what to do with the iPad, and we were coding all day, and the feature, it was amazing. We said, this is the most amazing thing that ever happened to humanity, right? It's like, we have the best UI, we have the best features, it's better than competitors, by the way. We didn't have so many competitors, maybe Food Spotting that started with us at the same time, but we had better features. We had better features. And then, Food Spotting CEO, she did something unpredictable. She is American. She is also adopted from South Korea. She read an article on the New York Times that nominated the top 40 women in the high-tech industry in the US. And she went to one of them. And she said, let me make you a co-founder in my company. She said, fuck, free equity, of course, I'm in. And she was invited to every startup conference you can imagine. And the only thing that she said on stage was, food spotting, 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 food spotting. To Americans, it's called marketing. Few weeks later, $3.5 million in the bank. Very nice. What we had better features. It's much more important than somebody saying your name on stage to every possible investor in the US where they have too much money anyway. Right? You can see this building, 100 million shekels. Wow, amazing. So we pitched our idea, and for us the food was an emotional thing. Savarin also said that the discovery of a new dish confers more happiness on humanity than the discovery of a new star. True. Unbelievable. If you ate hummus at Abu Hassan, you know what I mean. It's the best. It's very good. So we are on stage. We are doing the pitch, 7 minutes at the economy. And as I go off stage, I see this SMS. Somebody wants to give us $50,000 because we spoke on stage for 7 minutes. I said, interesting. This could be a very good business model because, we didn't have a business model. What the fuck? We have good features, great UI, we are better at anything. $50K for 15%, which is a good deal, right? I didn't have any money, but it's good money. Maybe I can do that every conference, $50K. Nice. But I knew that I don't want to take money from this guy. I don't want to get in bed. You take money from investors, then they call you up. What did you do with my money? Where is it spent? How is it going? What about downloads? You need to know who you go to bed in. I didn't want to go. It was a nice guy, but I don't want to take money from him. It's like, I want to go into bed with this guy. Right? You know Yosi Vardi? Yosi Vardi ICQ? This is why you are here, because he managed to sell to ICQ to AOL for a lot of money. Now he told me that a few weeks before he sold the ICQ, he got a call from AOL saying, we want to buy you. And he said, okay, how much? And they said $200 million. He said, fuck no, I'm not selling you for $200 million. And he got off the phone and went to talk to, Goldfinger and his son and the other founders. And they said, AOL just wanted to acquire us. I said, yes, how much? And he said, $200 million. They said, yes, we're rich, we're fucking rich. I said, no. He said, what the fuck did you say no? We have nothing. It was like something like 10 people, 5 servers, something like that. It was a good, ROI. They made him call AOL. He picked up the phone, called them, nobody answers. It's corporate America, 5 p.m., they go to sleep, right? Few weeks later, they call him up again, $407 million. He said, fuck yes. As he sold it to AOL, once they signed, the finance guy comes to Yosi and says, okay, Yosi, thank you very much for selling us the company. Here's the money, huge pile of money, by the way. And how do we make money out of ICQ? And he said, are you fucking nuts? Do you think I would sell you ICQ if I knew how to make money out of it? So this is Yosi. Yosi is a very, very simple person. He gives you $100,000. He takes 20% shares, common shares, really term sheet, 1.5 pages. You sign it, you get the money in the bank. No question asked. He said to me, Yosi, I want to invest. You know my deal? I said, yes, okay. He said to me, you have my permission to go to any investor you know and get a better deal. I said, I don't want to get a better deal. I want you. I'm one of the believers that Yosi is worth his weight in enriched uranium. Okay, he is a super connector. He has everything. I think he's amazing. So we take the money from Yosi Vardi. We take the money. We have $100,000 in the bank. What a moment, I can tell you. What a moment. Amazing. And we started coding, by the way, and we kept on going and releasing more versions, and it didn't go so well. You know, you know, from time to time we would meet with Yosi. Yosi would tell me how many. He doesn't, by the way, care about and his money. He doesn't ask a question like that. But he asked me, how many downloads do you have? And I said to him, we have $10,000. He looked at me and says, it's not viral, right? I said, Yosi, come on. No, not everything is like ICQ. So that was our thought at the time. And one of the things that Yosi is doing usually is he invites you to all sorts of conferences. So I went to a conference called DLD, which happens once a year in Munich. And it happened last January, and it happens every year. So I go to this DLD, and we mingle and we find friends. And there I met Lior Ron, who now runs the Motorola acquisition, but he was responsible on Google Local. And he asked me, look, Yosi, we're going to release this product. What do you think about it? And as a good Israeli, I trashed his product. I said, it's fucking ridiculous. It's never going to work. It's ugly. It's not. What are you don't know what you're talking about. And I was trashing his product. And look where it took them, right? And I was trashing his product for an hour in DLD. At the end, he said to me, so how about moving to Silicon Valley and work for us? I said, fuck. Sounds interesting. My wife just finished her PhD, and it would be nice to, to keep on doing a postdoc in Stanford. And the day later, the M&A guy, Anil, comes to me and he says, Yosi, why don't you give me a number and talk to your partners and Yosi Vardi and your wife and give me a number? I said, fuck, yes. But he didn't know, this guy, he didn't know that a year before that, we were in a similar situation with another company called Nuconomy. Now, in Nuconomy, we had an analytics product and we had a retargeting product. We had no idea how to make money. Basically, we had amazing, amazing technology. But we worked on it. And Yosi Vardi invested some money in it. And also this guy invested $2 million. Now WPP is the biggest communication group in the world. It has hundreds of offices, hundreds of countries. It's really, they're making a lot of money. They invested $2 million. It's like pocket change for them. But this guy decided to invest. And we worked, and at some point, he said to us, we want to buy you. We want to buy you. Now, this is great. Like, your investor, the main investor, wants to buy you. And we started to negotiate. And we negotiated, and negotiated, and negotiated, and negotiated, and negotiated, and negotiated, and money ran out. And we kept on negotiating because we saw the money is coming, right? We are, in a minute, we're going to close it. And we kept on negotiating for 3 more months without salaries. But we believed it's going to happen. And it did happen. We got a call saying, we have the contract done. We want to fly you in to New York and to sign it. So we got the flight tickets, and we're looking at the price, and it's $3,000 for a flight to New York. I said, what's going on, guys? We can negotiate. Come on, it's Israel. Give me the phone. I'll do it. I'll take it by half. I said, don't worry, guys. Just be on the plane. Everything will be fine. And we go on the plane, and I go to coach. And this guy tells me the girl tells me, where are you going? I said, I'm going to sit. I said, no, you're in business. I said, me in business? It's like I'm coming from Ashkelon. Do you understand? I'm in business? And I felt really uncomfortable. They have so much space. It's like really uncomfortable. They have 3 kinds of meals, and they have little napkins when you go out of the bathroom, and it's unbelievable. A really, really amazing experience. Business is the best, especially if somebody else pays for it. And we go out of the plane, and we have a limousine, and we have this guy with signs. It says Mr. Taguri. I said, Mr. Taguri, unbelievable. My mother would be so proud. I took pictures. It's like nobody called me Mr. It's like we are going to do an exit. It's like the Mesudarim. We feel it. We sit in the air, and we started. They bought us tickets to everywhere. It was very good seats with Robin Williams, and it was the best food ever. Everywhere, and this is Peter Luger with a huge steak. One thing about Peter Luger, this is real size of the plate. Okay? It's huge. We drank like $60 shots of whiskey. And Hagai can vouch for that. We drank, we said, they're paying, they have lots of money. We drank. I never drank whiskey. This time it was really, really good. And it was amazing. And my wife called me, and she said, is the deal signed? And I said, yes, the deal is signed. And I come back to Israel to find out 3 new friends at home. Jimmy Choo, Gucci, and Versace. Pair of shoes. I said, fuck, we can do that. We did an exit. Come on, let's upgrade the house. Let's buy a Jeep. We can do that. We have the money coming. We signed the deal. Everything is going Mesudarim. Yes. Not for $107 million, but fuck, we did an exit. How much, how many times you have an opportunity to do an exit? So we started to work. They said, we are WPP. We want the best offices ever in Tel Aviv. You cannot work from this lousy office that you have. Find us the best building we want. Neon lights, WPP. And we started looking for venues, and we started looking for people, and we started to work. And 2 weeks later, nobody answered our phone calls. Nobody replied to our emails. It was quiet. It turned out that this guy decided not to sign the contract. Now, I wanted to call him. I wanted to ask him, look, Mr. Martin Sorel, Sir Martin Sorel, would you mind buying 3 new pairs of shoes because it was your money that my wife spent, it wasn't mine, and I have nothing to do with it? But I think that he actually did the right thing of not buying us. We individually, we were a very, very good, people. Every one of us. Hagai is one of the most amazing people ever. And we had Omer, and we had Eran. I think as a team, we failed. We failed on so many levels. And I think that he did a very, very good job not buying us. But eventually, we managed to sell it to LivePerson. It was a mercy sale. It was a sale that was meant so the investors, some of the investors could get some of their money back. And 6 months into LivePerson, I managed to get myself fired. Okay? It's not a nice thing to get fired. They did it on the phone. It wasn't really nice. Said, you're fired. Said, okay, fuck you. Okay? But it was really lousy to get fired. So, getting back to DLD, let me tell you why they fired me, okay? I have to tell you why. It's like, I'm seeing a company doing 200 and something people in there, doing more than $100 million in revenues each year, and they're sitting and they are doing their stuff. And I said, like, you have so much money, let's do something different. So I sat with the CEO and I said, okay, let's take 4 teams of 4 people. Let's give them a few constraints. Let's give each team $20,000. 1 month with the constraint of not being in the office for the whole month. They can drink margaritas if they want and come back with something. Anything would be good. Now, if they come back with something that doesn't work, we learned something. It doesn't work. But maybe, one of the teams will come back with something that can change the company. And they looked at me and they said, "You're fired." Things are working for us. Why are you want to change things? So this was live person. Fuck them. Back to DLD. Now this guy, Anil, didn't know that I was just through this whole process of negotiating. I didn't negotiate personally, but we negotiated as a company. And I didn't have time to spare. I said, this is a very, very simple deal. We have one investor, Yosi, 3 cool guys. Let's do the deal. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. The first call I made was for this guy. Did you see Pulp Fiction? The Fox? Yeah, the cleaner, the guy who is responsible to fix things. This is Tal Bar-Noach. Tal Bar-Noach being Sync and many other companies. He was, by the way, the guy who managed to sell Nuconomy to LivePerson. And I called him up and I said, look, Google just offered to buy us. Would you please help me? Because I knew that Google could bullshit me when doing negotiation, but they cannot bullshit this guy. This guy is like, come on, you cannot bullshit this guy. He's very big voice because he's very cool guy. He said, sure, I'll help you. But Google wouldn't want to talk to him because they knew they can bullshit me, but they cannot bullshit him. So he says to me, Yosi, okay, how much money do you want for your company? I didn't know how much money my company worth it. So I called Nimrod Lehavi, and Nimrod Lehavi told me there is one good system that I use every time, which is you take a big mirror, you stand in front of it, and you start saying numbers. When you start laughing, you stop. Sounds like a good system. So I said to him, look, Tal, I think that Yosi wouldn't sell below 4 million, which is nice. And I don't know, 7 million would be nice because any money is clearly better than no money that I didn't have, so 7 million. So we said, okay, we will start with 9. And they started to negotiate, and Tal would really coach me through it, telling me, look, when they said X, they actually meant Y. I said, wow, okay, thank God for you, for you saving me, and we kept on going. So what could go wrong, right? We had the deal, we had the numbers, we talked to the teams, everything was in place. Marissa Mayer was scheduled to sign the contract. Now this is something that my previous partners maybe don't know, but my wife didn't know about it, by the way. I was not going to buy more shoes and sell it to some Google guy afterwards. So what could go wrong? Well, this guy fucked it up. This guy decided he wants to be the CEO of Google. And he actually demoted Marissa Mayer, and he actually stopped all M&As at that time. And I was 1 week away from $6 million. 1 fucking week. $6 million. And he fucked it. To this day, I think he was wrong. We were a very good team, and we knew what we were doing, and obviously they managed without us, somehow, I don't know. So we managed to fuck that up too, somehow. Third time ice cream. So we were unemployed. We eventually decided to close FeedMe for various reasons. One of them is, and this is really opening my heart. I felt that the team doesn't believe in me that I can do, and they actually lost interest, and we all lost interest in the product. And it was very painful. But we managed to get $60,000 back to Yosi, which is a big mistake, by the way. We had $100,000 and we didn't manage to spend it. I was so cheap on the money. I felt that it's going to run out every minute, so we didn't spend it on anything. And rule number 0, you always spend all the money of your investors as fast as possible. Okay, this is a good, if somebody gives you money, spend it. So we closed the company and we said, okay, Yosi, we want to give you the money back. And he said, okay, let's divide it between the, shareholders. I said, Yosi, what are you talking about? It's like, that's not how you do an exit. I don't want your money. It's your money. It's not our money. And we actually gave it back to Yosi. And it took us a year to close the company. Opening a company is like a day. Closing it, it's like a year. It's like, and I think it's only also on the TV show that we signed the contracts and we end the company. The product is still alive, but it's basically done. So we were unemployed and we started, I hooked up with a friend or two and we started doing projects. Like we needed some money. And on one of the weekends, there was a global game jam. It's an event where they encourage you to do in 48 hours to create a game. So we is Eyal Shachar and Israel Roth. Eyal Shachar is maybe the most amazing person to ever live in the Milky Way in terms of he is a really unique experience as a UX product and design. He is an amazing person. He doesn't have a box, actually. And Israel Roth, which is, he did a big exit. He sold XMPie to Xerox a few years back, and he took a vacation of 2 years, and he has a really big passion to create things, and we hooked up somehow. And we said, let's do PA. Now, PA was invented by Eyal Shachar, the guy without a box, and it's basically a voice-activated game. And he did it 7 years before that for Flash. He saw the mic API for Flash, and the first thing that comes into his mind is, let's do a game that is voice activated. And nobody knew about PA because it was the web. How do you bring so many people to play something on the web? It's also impossible. So we decided to do PA. And me and Eyal, we were talking about how we're going to do that. And Israel was sitting at the corner and started programming. And after 20 minutes, we hear Israel say, Israel, what the fuck? What is going on? I said, we have a prototype. We have a prototype. 20 minutes of work and we have a prototype. And this guy, by the way, has no fear whatsoever from technology. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have a computer science degree. He can get into anything. It's unbelievable. He's so gifted. And so we worked on it. And in total of like 8 hours, because we needed to eat that weekend. So we worked on it a bit more. And it was on our computers and we didn't release it for a few weeks. And then we said, like, we worked on it. We don't know if it's going to succeed or not. And we were doing something else at that time. And we decided to release it. So we uploaded it to the App Store, where the Holy Spirit of Steve Jobs needs to verify that this game is a good game, or whatever it is. And we were waiting, and waiting, and waiting, and it took somewhere around a week. By the end of that week, we got an email that it's being in review. Very, very exciting. So we went out to shoot a user-generated content of users playing PA, so we could upload it to the website, so we can encourage people to download the app. It's cost $1, so maybe we make some money. Now they didn't get it, and we were a bit upset. They didn't get it, and so we went to sleep thinking it's still in review, and it turns out that around 1 a.m. Apple, Steve Jobs specifically, I think, approved the app, and 2 hours later, somebody picked it up. One of the biggest game blogs in the world, named Kotaku, and this is what they had to say.
Most ridiculous video I've ever done. They say to use PA, but DA works better for me, it seems. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I can't talk about the game when I'm going DA.
Now this was a lot of fun. We woke up like it was Thursday morning. We were we were like laughing like hell, and we made somebody laugh, which was amazing. And we started picking up downloads on the App Store. By the weekend we were #1 in Israel, which is around 100 downloads. It was amazing. Like #1 in something. We made it. And then something bad happened. We got hacked, and I got pissed out. It's like I said to myself, who the fuck are they? We are the Israelis. You don't fuck with us. It's like we bombed the Iraqi nuclear plant. You don't fuck with us. It's like the Israelis. You know, I felt like they took the food out of my kid's mouth, and I had 3 of them at the time, and they eat a lot, by the way. And I have 4 of them now, and they still eat a lot. But in my house at the time, we lived by pa. One-year-old, she got it. She's a genius, by the way. She's now 3 years old. She's doing 100 pieces of puzzle. She's unbelievable. She's amazing. My genes all the way. Amazing. So then I was very vocal about it. I was pissed off. You know, my mother is from Morocco. My father is from Libya. Both countries are not known for the human rights movements. I was pissed off. I was really, really pissed off. 9/11 style. I was vocal, very vocal about it. I'm still, when I hear about it, the vein goes out. And I was vocal, and I said to my friends on Facebook, like, somebody hacked us, and I gave a link and everybody, and a friend got back to me and he said to me, you know, I know who hacked your game. I said, yes, who? I said, he's an Israeli. I said, an Israeli? Out of all the Chinese people in the world, an Israeli hacked our game? It was unbelievable. So I wrote him an email. We found him on YouTube, and I wrote him an email. And this is the first thing that you should never do. Don't never write an email when you're angry. And I said, look, your ass is in the water, our ass is in the water. Come on, we worked very hard on this. It's only $1. Take it out. And obviously we didn't get any answer from this guy. But the same guy did a bit more research, the guy that found this guy on YouTube, and he said to me that he knows who this guy is on Facebook. So I friended him, and I waited. Now he wasn't very, very smart. He approved me. And I went into his chat and I said, look, man, how could you do this to me? Haven't the Jewish people suffered enough? It's like, don't do this. And he said, no, it's not me, it's them. And as we were talking, he took the links off. But 2 days later, they were back on. It's like on fire. And my partner said to me, look, Yosi, if they're having fun, as long as they're having fun, you know, so be it. Serenity now, insanity later. Let them be happy. And I said, okay, fuck it. Fuck live person, fuck Google, fuck them. Okay? That's good. So then Taiwan found out about it. And they started shooting videos. And some of them were very, very creative. Like this one. And it kept on going, like, points doesn't matter, okay? And they kept something 100 and something points, which is amazing. And then, something even more amazing happened. China found out about it. I don't know if you know that, but they have a lot of Chinese in China. And they started downloading it, and they started writing us emails. Very, very emotional emails. This guy, he said, it's a broken English, it's used Google Translate to do the stuff. It's not working very well. It has a sound control system not appears in other apps, and I saw some videos playing the game, blah, 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 blah. He basically wanted me to give him a promo code. Now, a promo code is something that you give for bloggers, for reviewers. You have 50 promo codes per version of the app, and you give it. So he asked for it, and he said, I'm going to write a review. And I said, okay, where are you going to write a review? And he said to me, I'm going to write it in the App Store. And I knew that you couldn't write a review if you got, and it doesn't make sense. It's the holy spirit of Steve Jobs wouldn't allow it. Of course you cannot do it. So I asked my wife, she's a very intelligent person, she did a PhD, I thought, what should I do? And she said, look, it's probably a nice Chinese person, you know, Chinese person. Besides working at Foxconn and committing suicide, what do they have to do? So give him a promo code, come on. And so I gave him a promo code and I said to him, here's the promo code, I know the reviews wouldn't matter, so as long as you laugh, we're happy. And the day after we got another email. This time, yesterday, my best friend showed me Pa. So these two guys, they are friends. We are onto something here. And he also asked for a promo code. I said, fuck it, let's do it. Foxconn, suicide, let's do it. And the day after, another one. I played it on my friends. Now it went viral in China. Okay? Now everybody's asking for promo codes. Now my wife said to me, like, you cannot do that anymore. It's you have to pay the mortgage. So I said to him, sorry, I can't. But it turns out that his mother did play. It doesn't have accelerometer, by the way. And it keeps on going. And there were some Israelis that also played it. This is Israeli. They look at the table. They have really, really good stuff on the table. Enhancing. And it was always the same. People playing groups. It doesn't matter. Maybe, you know, in Palestine they play bar or something, but it works. It works. And one of the things that we did when we did PA is we shared the numbers all the time. We shared how many downloads we had. We shared how many pirated copies we had. We shared how much money did we make. It's like, so we decided to share the numbers also with you. And we, you know, it was something that you're not doing. Usually you don't do that. So this is how many downloads we had so far, which we passed the 1 million downloads, which is nice. It's actually a bit higher than that. It's around 1.5 million right now. And you can obviously see that iOS users are much more happy than Android users. This is a science fact. You see it on the table, I could draw a pie of that, but it's still the same. And this is how many YouTube views, millions of views. We didn't end up uploading our video, but it turned out that people did upload their videos. And we were in a conference one day, and there was this Chinese coming back to us. I know you, and he showed us the parallel universe of YouTube in China, which is called Youku. Now, everything is much, much bigger, except for the people. They are small. Everything is big in China. And they had videos with 3 million views of one videos of PA. It was amazing. They had many, many of them. I have no idea how many actual views there are. But this is how many plays we had on PA. And one of the things that we did is find our own measure of success on PA. You go to raise money and they ask you, okay, how successful are you? What is your measure of success? So we decided to invent our own, which was how many times people shouted PA. Well, we came from economy, we know how to do analytics, so we did it. This is how many times people shouted PA. Over 100 million times. which is nice. When we posted that we had crossed the 1 million, one of the VCs in Israel said, 1 million of anything is something, but the son of a bitch wouldn't give us money. So we did some money out of it. This is how much money we did. We made around $60,000. Less than 1% of it was from Android, because you cannot make money out of Android, except if you're Ben Gigi and your brothers and you're so gifted that you can build like a studio of games in your house. Cow Run Cow, Nugra Nuts, geniuses. Seriously, they're the only one in Israel that are making money from games. We didn't manage to do that, but we made much more money from people coming to us and said, can you develop that for us? Did you do it? Yes, and said, yes, of course. Do you have money? They said, yes. Fuck yes, I will develop that for you. And we started doing contract work and stuff like that. And we ended up, it's not working, the demo I wanted to show you, but one of the coolest features that we have now on Part 2 is the ability to, we have themes and everything. This is Part 2. And while you are playing, we take a video of you playing. And we show it to you when you finish the level, and you press play, and it generates a video on the fly. And unfortunately, it doesn't auto-publish it to Facebook to make, to make a little buzz. But it's really, really cool. I don't think it was ever done before, and it's working. So far, from 2 months in the App Store, we made $2.35. This is how much we did, which is good. Compared to the 1 million downloads, we have only 20,000 downloads for Part 2. It crashed and burned. It didn't work. So this is a very inspiring slide. This is also a very, very inspiring slide. And here is another one. Very inspiring slide. And I think the most important thing that we learned from PA is like pirates is your best friend. We wanted to close it at first, but it was the best marketing strategy ever. It turns out that the #1 pirated country is now Israel. It's China. China. Lots of Chinese, lots of pirates. And it turns out the #1 paying country is China also, because they have friends and not all, it was a good strategy, and it worked. It worked very, very beautifully. So we decided to do something with what we learned, and we started LabGuru, and in LabGuru what we're trying to do is we're trying to fail all the time. We're trying to build things as fast as we can and to fail on other people's money. And it's so far, let me show you a few things that we worked. The first one that we started with was with Dov Moran, which we were very, very honored, like spending his money. And this is going to replace textbooks in schools with tablets. We have 3,000 students in Israel today that are going to school only with tablets. The most emotional part of this one, and it's very serious, we saw 7 grades that the first time that they saw the internet was on the tablet, on our system. And it was amazing to see that. And obviously it works on Android, which sucks, and we are also working on an iPad. But this is really a challenge. This is going to change education in Israel. The second one is we're doing it with Oren Dubronsky, who did Hotbar and did the investment in CourseRider and all sorts of other stuff. This is an e-commerce site that is an app that is going to give you a different shopping experience, which is we're going to do a huge exit here, I'm sure, absolutely. The one that I'm working on is a new kind of a cellular provider. We are giving you a SIM. We are actually canceling the channel, the voice channel, and we're giving you a voice over IP app that you can call for as many as you want and to wherever you want. And you're calling for free. You pay us a retainer of a subscription of $10, and the best thing it would give you is the ability to roam outside of Israel to wherever you want for free. So we're basically doing the same thing that AT did for the US, where you buy a phone in New York and you go to San Francisco and you roam for free. So we're doing it for the rest of the world, and it is ready. Basically, it's already done. We've built it for the past 3 months. We built a whole cellular provider in 3 months, and it's all software, and it's amazing, and it's totally scalable to unlimited calls. And if you want to buy it, or you want to sign up for it, you go to signup.kola.im, Kola with a K, K-O-L-A, signup.kola.im, and you can register to give us money for that. Now, Nike used to say, because they don't say it anymore, just do it. I say that if you have an idea, or you have any, it doesn't matter how crazy it is, just fucking do it. Because if you're not doing it, or you're working for a big company like LivePerson or other companies, and you're not doing your ideas, you're both stupid and ugly. Seriously. The best thing ever to do stuff is now. People tend to think that the future will be brighter. It will be easier. It will be nicer. We will have more money and more time. Reality is actually quite different. It's the other way around. If you're not doing it now, you will never do that. This is the best time ever to do that. And when I told Yosi that we want to close Femi, the only concern that he had, he asked, I'm not upset that you spent some of my money. All I ask is that you try again. And he also used to say, he still says that the number of possible failures for any entrepreneur is finite. Eventually, you will not fail. Thank you.